Hey bookworms, welcome back to the channel and welcome to new. It's Sam, and in today's video we will be taking part in my first ever readathon. The readathon that I'm taking part in is created by Break Even Books and it's called the Reindeer Readathon, which is why I'm wearing my atlas and my Christmassy reindeer PJs because it just fits really well with this video. And did I go out and buy these PJs specifically for this video? Maybe. But anyway, for those of you who haven't already seen my TBR video for this readathon, I will link it below so you can go and check it out. I list all the books that I'm going to read for each prompt and how many points, so you can go and check that out if you want. And yeah, this readathon pretty much runs from the 1st of December to the very end of December, and we've all been assigned teams. I am team Stocking, which I am so happy to be part of the team because everyone is just so nice. We've all been chatting through Discord, sharing like how we're feeling, how excited we are, what books we're going to be reading, and honestly I'm really glad that for my first readathon it is this one. I'm going to be bringing you guys along. I think what I'm going to do is jump straight into the video and I will give you guys an update about a week in maybe. But before I do jump into the video, happy New Year's Eve, because by the time this video goes up it should technically be New Year's Eve. Fingers crossed I get this video up on time, otherwise then maybe it'll be New Year's Day. I hope you've had a brilliant 2022 and I hope 2023 is even better. But I'm going to shut up and get on with the video. Hey! So, it is just over a week into the readathon. It is currently the 10th of December and I have officially read 5 books. I actually finished my 5th book yesterday and yeah, I can't believe I've read 5 books. I feel like whenever I set myself like a challenge or there's some sort of like reading challenge, which is literally what I just said, I'm not feeling very well, which is probably why my voice sounds rubbish. Partner decided to give me his book, so yay, thanks. Anyway, I've read 5 books, which is insane that I've even managed to read 5 books. I'm gonna just jump straight into them. I'm not gonna tell you guys like what points I've made yet. At the end of the video I'll like tally up all the points that I've made and then we'll go from there. So the first book that I read for this video was The Cruel Prince. This is just my opinion. This is not offense to anybody who enjoyed the series because this series is loved by so many people, just not by me. I really thought I was going to enjoy this book because the premise sounded really, really good, and I've read a book similar that I've enjoyed, but I really didn't enjoy this one. And if it wasn't through listening to the audiobook while reading this or this readathon, I probably would have ended up DNFing it. But I pushed through. I remember finishing it and just feeling like it was okay. I really don't have too much to say about this other than I feel like it's just been done before and the character's just unlikable. I believe there's supposed to be romance between the 2 main characters in the 2nd book, which to me is just like, I don't know, it feels really unrealistic. Like, oh, I'm going to try and drown you, but like, let's get together. Like, I'm sorry, if a serial killer tried to kill you, would you want to date him then if he's like, I'm sorry, I actually like you, that's why I tried to kill you? No. I just finished this book thinking like, am I supposed to care? And I was really disappointed in it because it's my first book for this readathon and it didn't start off great. I really wish I could be on the same train as everyone else in loving this series because I really wanted to, and also the fan art was so nice. But yeah, I don't have anything else to say about this book. But I completed it. I will not be completing that series and we're not going to talk about it anymore. I have 2 to 3 favourite tropes, but I went for Friends to Lovers because it was a Christmassy themed book, and that was Holiday Romance by Catherine Walsh, which absolutely was perfect time to read this book. If you haven't already, you guys should definitely read this one, and you want to still have that Christmassy spirit, then you should definitely pick up this book because this book gave me so much that I wanted, but even more that I was just hooked and I didn't want this to end. We have like snowstorm, Christmas markets, mistletoe, Christmas music. We have a character who's absolutely obsessed with Christmas and likes Christmas jumpers, and then we have a character who's like not so Christmassy but like is her mind changed. And yeah, in this book we followed the 2 characters who are friends. In the very beginning of the book, our main character is on the phone, Molly, and she's on the phone to her friend who's telling her that she's going to break out of her boyfriend on Christmas Eve, which is like, God, what the hell? So our friend's like Molly's like, no, you can't do this. She ends up having to leave because she got to get on the plane, and who happens to be on the plane but the guy who's dating her friend who's about to be broken up with, and things do not start off great. They've obviously already met before, but then Molly decides to yank the phone from him when her friend's trying to break out of him, so it's a little bit awkward. And in this book we actually follow present day from where this storm's happened, and she's trying to help him get home for Christmas, to like all the past like flights they've had together and how they became friends. And this book honestly just really warmed my heart, and I ended up giving this book a 5-star because it was just perfect, and I cannot wait to read more by this author because I absolutely love this book. You pick it up if you like romance and you want Christmassy vibes. This is it. An excerpt was a book for the prompt: you need to finish a book you started or finish a book in a series. Wow, I felt like that was a hint for me to finally finish the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, and the last book is As Good as Dead, and yeah, I finally picked this book up. I enjoyed it as much as the others. Like, I was never bored. It's one of those books that you constantly have to turn the page at. Everyone says that this book takes like a different turn. It definitely does that, but I still don't know how I feel. Either way, I still really enjoyed this book. It wasn't a 5-star like the previous 2 books, which I'm sad about, but the reason being is because I don't feel like it was shocking of who the person was who was doing this. I feel like it's quite obvious, where in her previous 2 books everything was like shocking as these twists, and that you just like literally like, oh my god. Don't get me wrong, there are definitely twists in this book that I didn't expect come in, and this book still shocked me, but just who the person wasn't really shocking. But I still really enjoyed the series, and in the whole the series is a 5-star, and I'm really glad that I finished this one. Next up is a book that I wanted to read for the prompt with your favourite season in the book, or the colours of your favourite season, and for that I picked Last Time We Met, because I feel like this really screamed like spring, and I was really excited for this one because I read her first book, which is Before I Saw You, and I really loved it. But this one ended up being a DNF, which then kind of put me in a bit of a reading slump, because then I was like, I don't know what to read. You know, like when you read something and then you have to DNF it because you're not enjoying it, and then you just don't know what to read next because you're worried. Well, yeah, this book almost ruined my, what am I looking for? My strike off reading like so many books in like such a short time. So unfortunately I did DNF this book. I got 140 pages into it, and I just really didn't want to pick it up, which meant I had to then swap out that book for a different one. And that was difficult because it took me half an hour to an hour to actually pick one, and in the end I did go for The Drowned Woods. I feel like the pinkish sky, the purples, the birds and stuff actually do, for me, feel like spring. So this is the last book I've read so far, and we're pretty much up to date with what I've read. This one is a fantasy book where we follow a character who can control like water. She's like a diviner, but she's taken from her home where the prince can like sort of use her for what he needs, and we follow this character who is trying to basically break free from that. Like, she's fled, and then this person who took her and sort of trained her over time has come to tell her that, you know, there's this heist and it can like give her everything she wants, and she can finally be free. And we meet all these other characters. Now, I did enjoy the book. Like, I loved the magical element of it, and I liked the characters, but I still feel like there's something slightly lacking with it. Although I will say that the last 80 pages I didn't see any of those twists come in, so that bumped it up for me with my rating, because I ended up giving this book a 3.5 stars. And I think this is actually serious, which I am going to continue because I would like to know what's going to happen next. But yeah, I still enjoyed it. It's just, it wasn't like a 4 or 5 stars. So that's the 5 books I've read so far, and I haven't had time to read as we're speaking. I believe it's like about 1 PM in the afternoon at the moment. And the next book that I plan to read is You Had Me at Hollow, which is for the prompt where you have to generate a number, and I got 6. If you guys saw my TBR video, you'll see the struggle. So I plan to read this one, and We Met in December. I'm hoping to read these 2 in the next 2 days if I can. And yeah, I'll give you guys another update, maybe when I've read these 2, or maybe in another week's time, to see how I go. I'm really hoping that I can finish this readathon in the next week, because then I can focus on some other books that I want to read that I couldn't fit into this readathon. So far it's going really good. I'll let you guys know how I go soon. Hey guys, so I do apologise if this clip looks a little bit different from the last clip, but I realised that I told you guys I had read 5 books and then only showed you guys and talked about the 4 books. So I had to quickly fit in this video now while Irvin was in the middle of editing, and he pointed out that I hadn't spoken about a certain book, but that book was Fireborn, 12 and the Frozen Forest. This book is honestly gorgeous. Like, look at the sprayed edges. They are absolutely gorgeous. I actually really enjoyed this book. This book was recommended by a guy who works at Waterstones called Jake, and I don't normally go for middle grade, but I decided that for this readathon I'd pick this one up. And in this book we follow a character called 12 who is at this like hunting lodge with these other children, and these people are sort of training up to become hunters. Now, 12 kind of distances herself from everyone else. She doesn't really want to be friends with anyone. She wants to do everything alone, so she doesn't have many friends. But one girl there seems to always follow her around and be nice to her, and is always making an effort to try and be her friend. And 12 doesn't like to admit it that she cares. But when this girl goes missing, 12 takes it upon herself to go searching for her, where she is then accompanied by the Guardian and 2 other members from the lodge, and one of them being that someone she doesn't get along with. From the get-go, there is action constantly throughout this book. It's really good. It's full of magic, it's got twists, it's got drama, there's a lot of secrets that get revealed, which, to be honest, I wasn't really expecting that from this book, because I don't know what I really expected, but I don't think I expected this much action and drama. I really enjoyed it. So I ended up giving this book a 4-star, and I'm definitely going to continue the series because the ending to this book was so good. I listened to the audiobook as I was reading it as well. I highly recommend you go and picking it up because it's so good. And I cannot wait for this new one that comes out in 2023. If you want a book, like I said, that's got plenty of action, twists and drama, creatures, magic, this is it for you. Now back to the video. Good morning, guys. I finished You Had Me at Hodder, and yeah, I've just woke up, but I thought I'd show you guys this. It is snowing. We thought snow, so now it feels proper wintry weather. Also, I am so sick, so I am going to stay in my udi. I'm going to chill on the sofa with that guy, and I'm going to read my next read. It is currently December the 30th, and I have officially finished all the books for the prompts for the Reindeer Readathon. I actually finished all these books around the 17th, but I couldn't give you guys an update because I was really sick. I couldn't even talk because every time I talked I just coughed and it was horrible. My voice is all messed up, so I'm still kind of sick. My cat's come over here. Hi. Okay, but I'm trying to film. He wants to laugh. Okay, thank you. Anyway, so yeah, I'm still kind of sick, but I need to get this clip filmed because I got to get it edited today and it's going up tomorrow. So yeah, let's jump straight into it, shall we? So first up is You Had Me at Hodder. This book is actually really popular. A lot of people seem to really like it. We're from this actress who is going to be working on this like hit new TV show. So it's kind of like her big break, and she's going to be working with this actor who's pretty well known. A romance sort of blossoms between the two. Now, I really didn't like this book at all, to be honest. Like, I'm not sure if I gave it a 3-star, but now that I've been some time, it's a 2-star. My biggest problem with this book is that this is supposed to be a romance book, and not once did I feel like I've seen these characters slowly fall in love and their love blossom. It just felt like it was more like based on lust, and then suddenly they are in love. I just really hate that when books focus on like the sex part of books. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, like I don't mind it, but when it's just mainly focused on that and then we're supposed to be like, yeah, these characters in love, but all they've been doing is basically the bedroom stuff. It's like hard to understand how these characters are in love. Like for me, that's one of the problems with this book. Like there wasn't too much like obviously smut in this book, but it was the fact that that's all it was, and then suddenly they're like in love, and I just felt like I missed that point where that developed into a romance part of their relationship, because it starts off like friendship, then it starts into something like intimate, and then they're supposed to be in love, and I was like, did I miss something here? Because I just didn't feel that. Like I really just didn't care about the characters as a couple. I didn't really like the male character. I thought he's just really unrealistic. Like he wants to be this big famous well-known actor but have a private life, and it's like, I'm sorry, but like the moment you get into the spotlight, that's not going to happen. And he's got this secret. I just felt like the guy's secret made him a bad, I can't say that because if you haven't read it then it could be kind of a spoiler, but I just feel like he wasn't a great guy. Our female character, however, I thought she's really strong and independent, and she knew what she wanted and she was going to go for it despite like criticism and everything else. At the ending, when you're supposed to be like so happy that the characters are like together and you're supposed to be like, oh, like yes, finally, I didn't care. I feel like this was I'm sorry to anyone who's liked it, but I just feel like this was such a waste of my time. I only completed it because of this readathon. Otherwise I probably would have DNF'd it. I will not be continuing on to the next one. In fact, I will be unhauling this one because, yeah, I was really disappointed with it. Next up is a book that I pretty much picked up because of the readathon, and that's the reason why I ended up picking up this book. I wasn't going into this book expecting to really enjoy it, and that is The Family Game, and I did. I actually really liked this book a lot more than I thought I was going to, because in this book we're following a character, Harriet, and she's recently engaged to this guy called Richard, and his family like are really wealthy, or well known, and people sort of fear them, and she's super nervous going into it. So something happens, like the family member gives like her this tape, and this kind of unravels the story as it goes along, and there's like this mystery element to it. But also our main character's also got a secret that she wants to keep secret. I think a lot of people going into this book thought there was going to be like some big game, a bit like there's a movie called Ready or Not. I think it's actually like a book as well. There are 2 games in this book, and those the one game that happens in this book, I was like, that's not a game. You're messed up. Like, I'm sorry, you're gonna do this with children involved? No. I could not put it down on those scenes. They were so intense. I was like, what is happening? It's absolutely crazy. And then the other game that takes part near to the end, again, that's so crazy. And I really, really enjoyed those game parts of the book. But like I said, this book actually was shockingly really, really good. And I had a great time. Although I did kind of guess the ending. I was a little disappointed I could guess the ending, but at the same time I still found the ending to be very intense and page turning. And when I finished this book, I remember thinking like, okay, this actually was really, really good. And it's proof that you should never judge a book by its cover, like we all do. If you're looking for like a thriller type of book to read during Christmas time, this one's definitely it, because it is set around Christmas time. And I ended up giving this one 4 stars because it was so good. Then I went on to a book that's a sequel, so I can't talk too much about it in case you haven't read the first one. And if that book is Heart of the Sun Warrior, which is the sequel to Daughter of the Moon Goddess, and I really, really enjoyed this book. I gave it a 4 stars like I did with the first one. I'm very picky when it comes to rating my fantasy books. I just feel like I'm really tough on those. But in this book, we're following our main character. There's like a new thing that's putting her and her family and the place she lives in jeopardy. Yeah, a lot happens in this book. Like near to the start, there's a twist that happens that I didn't see coming. I thought it was quite emotional as well. There's like plenty of action still in this book. There's romance still, and we get a lot more of like the mum Brad in this book, which was really, really nice. But there's so many moments in this book that were so sad. Like there's only 3 moments in this book that really got me, like especially like almost brought me to tears. One particular scene that happens kind of midway near to the ending sort of thing, that just was like, oh my god, like, oh, it almost made me cry, almost. And then I'd have to say about the ending to this book, I think it's a great wrap up, because I do believe it's the last book, because it does say duology, so I think this was a great wrap up to the series. And I also feel like it does leave it open if it wanted to come back. But I do have to say I really like the ending to the book. So again, gave this book 4 stars. I feel like a lot of people in the readathon were reading this book for the certain prompt. And then the final book that I read for this month was We Met in December. This book, we follow this character who is moving into this house share because her friends are renting out a room for her, and it's in Notting Hill, but she's getting like super cheap. So of course, like she's like, yep, this is perfect. And then she ends up getting a crush on the guy, the roommate, but there's these rules on the cat date. And then she goes away on this trip, comes back, and he's now, well, it says he's dating another roommate. However, this book kind of, I feel like the misguided me a little bit, because I feel like what I was expecting isn't what I got. Now I was expecting to be more set December time, but it wasn't very Christmassy. There was that part, but again, it wasn't really Christmassy. I was expecting a lot more drama with this, because obviously like she likes the guy and he's supposed to be dating one of the roommates, but it is definitely for me very misleading. So one thing I did like about the book though is this is a very slow burn romance, which I liked, but I feel like it wasn't really what I was going into expecting, so I was a little bit disappointed. I do like the setting of London though, and a lot of places like Notting Hill mentioned, Neil's Yard, which I went to last year or the year before with my partner when we went to London. So it was really nice like seeing all the London stuff we talked about. The royal family get talked about in this book. I like the whole London aspect of the book. I do like the whole slow burn of it, and I like the fact that our characters have these like backstories as well. I don't know, I was expecting a bit more Christmassy. The book kind of sets out in December, then you go through the whole year and it goes back to December, but I liked a bit more Christmassy, considering that it's December on the cover. But it does have that wintry feel. So yeah, I don't know. This was good. I enjoyed it. Don't think I'd read it again. I gave it 3 stars. I believe I gave it 3 stars. I think if you're looking for like that roommate sort of book, then maybe you'll like this one, but it's not like, I don't think it's really very focused on that. Like I said, it wasn't exactly what I was going into expecting compared to the American Roommate Experiment. That was a lot better compared to this one. So yeah, so that is all of the books that I've read for this readathon. Oh my god. Cat, go sit down. So I have officially read all of the books for the main prompts, and then I completed 2 of the bonus prompts as well. There was one bonus prompt that I didn't complete, which was read an ebook, because I don't really read ebooks, so I wasn't able to do that one, which means I wasn't able to complete the other prompt, which was slay it, which means then you get bonus points for that and you get to redo one of the prompts. So I wasn't able to do that. Oh my god, my cat's like literally laying right by the tripod. 1 second. But I did complete the main ones and 2 extra bonus ones, so I earned 200 points in total. And we obviously do not know which team have won yet, because we still got 1 more day to go for people to put in points. But I can say that Team Stocking have been in lead 3 times in a row. I'm sorry, my cat's literally walking past the tripod. It's like on my bed. Deciding to lay right behind it. Okay, well, thank you. So what was I saying? So yeah, every time the points have been put forward, it has been Team Stocking. So Team Stocking might actually win. I have faith that Team Stocking will win. So this video is going up tomorrow, so obviously I can't put in this video who won, but I will put it on my community page, on the YouTube thing, and on my Bookstagram. So if you do want to know, make sure you keep an eye out for that, and I'll let you guys know who won. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed coming along on the journey for my first ever readathon. I have absolutely loved being part of this readathon. I've met some really great people. Being part of the Discord chat has been a lot of fun, and I'm really hoping that Eric goes ahead and does a summer readathon. I know there's been some mention, maybe, possibly. If he does, I'm definitely going to be taking part in it, and I think I will definitely be taking part in some more readathons in the future because this has been fun. Let me know some readathons below in the comments that you think I would enjoy, and if you did enjoy this video, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and until next time, bye!